Now, while I was out on the open road today on the MT09, I was just thinking, what's the one word that defines this motorcycle? And it comes very quickly to mind once you're riding it. It's just a lot of fun to ride. And I just don't know if there's a better word than that somewhere. I've heard the word hooligan often. But anyway, it is a lot of fun. And you can join us on this ride in full 4K. Just adjust your settings. Well, it looks like spring is finally really on the way. Pretty much every day now, we get, by lunchtime, it's up in the 50s. And we have had some nice, sunny, beautiful days for riding. I think today might be one of them. Now, it's not going to be long, and we're going to be in the full riding season where most of the days we'll get to ride some anyway. And hopefully we'll have some nice long weekends to enjoy too. But basically we try to ride every day. I try to videotape most of the rides. And I always like to have the bike pre-flighted and cleaned. It's just me. I don't like riding when there's bugs, and we're just going to be in a bug season pretty soon here. Or if there's, I ride through a puddle and there's all little water dots. I don't want to have the chain getting rusty, not lubed, out of adjustment. Even the exhaust pipes. Now, in MT09, there's not much of a front fender, so those pipes take a little bit of a beating every time you go through a puddle or little stones come up and chip it, and I like to keep it as nice as possible. But again, all of this is only for one thing, is so that when you get out on the open road, it's all about the fun. And there's just no other word that I can think of. There's people with very high-priced race bikes, and they're not interested in fun. They're interested in winning races. At my age, at 78, I want to have fun. I'm not going to be winning any more races. I didn't win that many to begin with. If you want to know, just ask the birds. Now, for me, there are not really a lot of things more fun than just going out to the garage after a good cup of coffee and feeding the birds and looking at the motorcycles, picking one to ride, and getting out into the back roads. Now, this bike excels in the back roads, and I mean fun. There's just no part of it that isn't fun. It does so many things well. It's not a one-trick pony like some bikes that only do this, that, or the other thing. This bike does it all, and that's one of the reasons it's so much fun to ride no matter where you ride. Now, in our part of the country, when you see the yellow forsythias blooming like this, and they're blooming everywhere, they're blooming right across the street from my house, you know pretty much winter is behind us for good. Now, a lot of things combine to make this bike, for me, even more fun than it would be otherwise. Having that Valentine radar detector, that takes a lot of the anxiety out of every time you want to go through the gears, have a little fun. The fact that it's nice and quiet, you can kind of sneak up on places, and you don't announce to the world that you're coming down the road, get out the radar gun. And just every part of it, it's a combination, the sum of all the parts that make it as much fun as it is. Now, the quick shifter, of all the things on this bike that I just think just make it more fun than some of the other bikes in my collection, the quick shifter. When I added that to the bike after I had bought it, it was about a $120 option, and it goes on in about an hour, but it changes the whole enjoyment of riding the bike. It is really, really something for anybody that, if there are people out there that have never had a quick shifter on a bike, it's really a lot of fun. And I enjoy just going through those gears the minute there's no traffic in front of me. And I like to do it on all the bikes, but a quick shifter makes it even that much more fun, even more. Now for me, my body size, my weight, that seat and the bar position, it just couldn't be better. And the truth is I've never even loosened the bolts that adjust the bars. They're just the way they came from the factory. Now I know probably I'm not alone when I say in the past I've taken bikes and tried to turn them into either cafe racers or race bikes or something else, something that I had in my mind. And when I was done, I wasn't real happy. I said, gee, the bike, maybe it's this, that, or the other thing, but it's not comfortable. And most of all, it makes the bike not fun, especially a two-stroke. Once you start up in the power, they get peaky and sensitive and tending to seize up. And this is the whole nice part of this bike. It's just as comfortable as you can possibly imagine. And the thing that makes it even more enjoyable is the power band. The Yamaha seems to be able to get these power bands to where they just are just perfect to me. I wouldn't touch a thing. If there was somebody out there that was changing a chip or doing something else, I have not found it necessary. I like it just the way it is. Now, I've had several emails with people that have the more advanced model, the next iteration of this, or the SP model, or both, that has the little bit better suspension, a little bit more horsepower. It has some other maybe features that I don't even know about, maybe a better quick shifter or so. And I know the scoops are real air. These are actually not real scoops on here, they're decorative. But to me, when you add it all up, when I take it all into account, yes, that's nice that you have all that stuff, and maybe I do wish I had it, but I have managed to really have a lot of fun for a bike that I paid less than $9,000 for, spent 2 years customizing, very little money and an awful lot of labor, and I think in the end what I have is just a beautiful bike. And of course, beauty is always in the eye of the beholder, but I look at this bike from so many different angles, photographing it, videotaping it, and to me, it just is a beautiful motorcycle, period. And I do appreciate the fact this bike has traction control and all of the safety features, the ABS, and when I'm riding it, I'm thinking, well, I'm way better off than if I didn't have those safety features. Makes it a lot more fun. And for every motorcyclist, their definition of fun might be a little bit different than mine or different than somebody else's. But the definition that I have, and it works for me, is I want to get on a motorcycle, be as safe as possible, always wear full gear, always have a radar detector, always pre-flight the bike. And once all that's behind me, I know I have 3, 4, 5 hours of absolute fun. And in every way, I want the bike to be fun to ride. I don't want to be uncomfortable. I don't want to have bars that are too high or too low. I don't want to have foot pegs in the wrong position or anything like that. And this bike, for me, it checks all of the boxes. Now we are at the part of the year where sooner or later we're going to start seeing a lot of motorcycles out on the road. We'll have our get-togethers again up on Perkins, hopefully, and I don't know what's going to become of Perry's, if anything. Nobody even knows. And Ruts Hut is coming up. An awful lot of nice get-togethers, and we plan to enjoy all of them. And of course, our most favorite get-together is always Bikes and Breakfast. And both the Pagoda one and the Palisade, New York one, and we always shoot video there. And there are just a lot of little things that you don't even realize are to make the bike even nicer to ride, or in my case, more enjoyable. A light feeling clutch, doesn't wear your arm out. The adjustable throttle, fast, slow, and medium. Always nice to have that if the roads are slippery or rainy or whatever suits your need for the day. Just a lot of nice features. Now, I've taken a lot of people up into this area where I ride in northern New Jersey, and it's hard to describe because I wander around here aimlessly sometimes, but all the roads are really, really nice up here, and in the Picatinny Arsenal area and just below it, and there's just no spot that's bad, really. There's a couple of sections where you have to go through housing developments and things like that, and that's where having a nice quiet bike really comes in handy. But there's one road that I've always enjoyed. That's Kingsland Road, and I'm not sure if it's in Kinnelon or in one of the towns near Kinnelon anyway. And this is I wanted to put this on. This road goes for several miles, and they just repaved it. And it's not repaved yesterday because all the oil is off of the tarmac. So when I went today, and I'm just putting a piece of this on, I wanted to do the narration of it before we get back to the farm. I went up, I turn around and go back, so I get to do it both ways. And it is just, you can see how much traffic is on it. It's absolutely not a bump on the road. It then forsythias off to the right and left, and usually there's a couple of little off-camber turns, but well, what a beautiful day this turned out to be. What a beautiful ride. The weather couldn't be any better. I don't really like it when it gets super hot or super cold. We're kind of in the middle here, probably in the mid-50s. It just couldn't be any better. And of course, fun is the name of the game with the MT09. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please hit the like button if you did, and thank you so much for watching.